So welcome everybody to our webinar here today. We're really excited that you're joining us here. We're super excited to see you. It's a very special moment for us because we're sort of talking about our intention to take advantage of the enormous growth that we're seeing in the online learning world at the moment. So welcome friends and welcome new folk who are looking at joining the journey. First of all, let's have a moment of onboarding. First of all, I'm very keen that you do participate by using the chat to ask any questions and to make any comments that you have. We want it to be as interactive as possible for you here today. And in addition to that, we want to just sort of confirm that we're going to be looking at those questions at the end. We'll be definitely sort of trying to deal with anything that comes up and to pay attention. And the next thing to note is that we're going to be using Mentimeter. So that's what you're seeing that we have shared on the screen. And the first thing that we want to do is to onboard you to Mentimeter. And the reason that we want to do that is that we're going to be listening. We're going to be asking questions throughout the process. So if you can just get hold of your smartphone, we're going to take a moment to look at how you onboard onto Mentimeter. These are the voting instructions here. Hopefully you can see those. The very easiest way to get in is just to go to your camera and point at the quick reference code, and it should just pick up and take you straight in. But if it's easier for you, you can just type in menti.com, go to the website and type in code 630578. And I'm going to just come onto the next screen. Those instructions are going to continue to be on the slide for you. But when you get into the room, just give us your name so that we can see that you've arrived safely and that you're on board. I'm very excited about sharing menti.com, which is one of our favorite tools for getting some participation. And the winner in the race there is Jenny Murray. That is absolutely no surprise, followed by VJ, to be expected. 2 people in already, going through the onboarding process. Well done, Miranda. Welcome into the party. Super excited to see you here. Fond memories of us at the Inspiration Centre. I'm so sorry that the face-to-face side of things is closed at the moment. Welcome, Zita. Zita's one of our authors in the Shine program, and Solomon. Solomon works on our commercial side, making sure that we have profitability. Welcome, Sean and Evan. So we've got 7 people in, and I can see that we've got 38 onboarded into the session so far. So welcome, Kat. Kat is a copywriter genius and is a member of our Shine network, Shine being our platform for sharing talents. Welcome, Paula. Paula, a PR professional working in the dental space. Excited to see you here today. And Troy, another author. Leilani, who you'll be seeing featuring later, a very important member of our team, both a Shine author and also someone that's involved in keeping the Empanda team energized. 11 people into the session so far. Just go to menti.com and use the code 630578. Should be easy peasy. Don't worry too much if you're dialed in on your phone. You should still be able to get in there. Welcome in Lisa. Lisa is a loyal Empanda, has been working as a training consultant with Empanda for years now, as has Daniela. And welcome Louise, who's into the session as well. 14 in out of 41. The instructions are going to continue sitting at the top of the screen. So I am going to gently move us forward, but do try and get in because we want to see what you think and make the session as interactive as possible. And so for your first sort of question, what I'm interested in is we put out an invitation, but why are you here today? If it's one thing that you could get out of the session, if you have a question that you're particularly curious about, we tend to be agile around the content. Give us a clue as to why you're here today. What's most interesting to you about the online learning revolution? Oh, To support Christy, thank you. Always appreciated. After all, it's nearly Women's Day, and it's certainly almost Women's Month, isn't it? At the moment, we're sitting in anticipation of a new module that we're going to be writing for the United Nations Global Academy, and that module is going to be all about gender equality. So we're taking gender quite seriously. And then I've got someone that thinks that the background music is a bit distracting. So to demonstrate listening, I'm going to take that right down to nothing. Well done for giving feedback, always very important. To learn more about Juno, that's our learning management solution and its offering. To learn, we've got people that are very interested. We've got people that are looking forward to learning what is available in the online learning space. People that are excited about the Juno real world applications and learning more about what is on offer in terms of that platform, to see how Juno is unfolding, which is super exciting. I think that's a super one as well, which gives us sort of a broad feeling that this is really about the online learning adventure, particularly the possibilities for South Africa specifically. And actually that is something that we're very keen to address. A very important point for us. Exploring options for building of a leadership development course. Absolutely spot on. We're very excited about working particularly in the leadership, the coaching and the empowerment space with motivational work, learning about the Juno and online learning opportunities, to understand the way forward in the e-learning space and Juno. So that's giving a bit of a sort of a feel for what we're interested in, being part of the e-learning journey that will take us into a post-COVID learning future. Very, very nice indeed. So I'm going to walk us forward at this point, and we're going to do a couple of introductions. I'm Christy, I'm the CEO and I'm the founder of Empanda, and over the course of time to become just increasingly passionate really about the opportunity for creativity and collaboration within the online learning space. And so at the same time as taking on board the crisis that there is at the current time around COVID-19 for mankind, actually trying to find where the positive angle is for us. In terms of opportunity and things that can accelerate positive transformation. So very focused on the online learning space. And I'd like to introduce Louise Brouard, who's my co-host today. Louise.
Hi, everybody. Yes, as Christy said, my name is Louise Brouard, and I've been very fortunate to be one of the pioneer authors on the Shine Author Accelerator Initiative, which I'm going to tell you about a little bit later. And this has meant, obviously, that I've been able to help shape the program together with the amazing Panda team, and am very well positioned to help facilitate some of you through the program if you decide to join us as authors. I now like to hand over to Suzanne.
Hi, yeah. Well, my name is Suzanne Groves. I'm in charge of operations here at Empanda, and I'm also Empanda's principal consultant. I'm literally involved in all business areas of Empanda, from change and training consultants at our client sites to our transformation advisory and content development capability. And I'm also involved with the Juno Learning Management System implementation and the Author Accelerator Initiative. So you are more than welcome to address any questions to me personally on our social media channels or on our website. And you can also contact me directly if you need help to start with one of our initiatives. So during this session, you're welcome to post your questions in the chat box as we go along. I will then make sure today that Louise and Christy gets your questions during the webinar, and that they answer them in the end. But if we don't have enough time to get to all of your questions, please don't worry, as I will follow up with you personally. I'm happy to help. And to that end, I hope you're going to enjoy the webinar as much as we are going to, because we designed it specifically with you in mind.
Lovely. Thank you very, very much indeed, co-hosts. Okay, so let's step forward and look at, they say start out with the challenges. And challenge, I think, for many of us in learning industry was that We had an event horizon, didn't we? As early as March 2020, roughly one half of the in-person learning and development programs had been postponed in the US, which was actually small fry in comparison to what was taking place in Asia and Europe, where nearly 100% of interventions were cancelled. And it was huge. We can't find a statistic for what happened here in South Africa, but certainly as a business that has a blend of face-to-face learning interventions and of online interventions, it was pandemonium as people suddenly accelerated their shift towards the online channel. People scrambled through instructional design and needed to pivot towards training in the online space. And so at the same time as experiencing impact in the world of face-to-face training, we began to experience quite significant demand in the learning online space. Because we wanted to get some statistics just to try and share tangibly what that looks like, we ended up going to Google AdWords to try and get an impression or something that's fact-based to share with you, and look at this. What we did was we calculated the last 12 months. We took the 9 months before the COVID-19 event horizon and the 3 months afterwards, and we evaluated growth. And you can see that, e-learning course is sitting at 773% up. That you're talking about website for e-learning, where you're more interested in hosting, 724% up. Online learning, 600% up. E-learning online, 570, and e-learning programs, 383. So we are watching an unprecedented shift, and what becomes really important is that we position ourselves, I guess, both strategically and operationally in order to sort of really maximize the opportunity within this space. So that's our intention. We think it's an extremely attractive opportunity for a few reasons. We think that a lot of what is happening in terms of moving the world forward and innovating in the online space is sustainable. We think that we're proving that it works, what we do in the virtual world, and that it's not a temporary blip, it's going to continue. We also are extremely excited as a small to medium-sized South African entity about the global nature of the opportunity, because our platform is hosted with global reach and performance. It gives us the opportunity to extend beyond the boundaries of our country and to grow and to become part of the global world. And in addition to that, it's growing. And so those are sort of three key characteristics that we think can lead to profitability for ourselves and for our employees and associates, and for our clients that we enable as well. And there's a $ there for a reason. So in terms of the Mentimeter, what would be quite interesting is I've got a question for you. In terms of that opportunity, do you agree? And if you agree, where do you see the opportunity being strongest? Is it because of the growth potential, because of the growth statistics that I shared, and the fact that there's more that's taking place than used to? Is it because you believe that it's important that we spread our wings and work towards a global world? And is it because you think that it's sustainable and stable growth? We've got our first answer in, and it looks like it being a sustainable opportunity is taking a bit of a lead, definitely getting strong answers in terms of the 3 through to 5 category. Not many people coming in with disagreements around the opportunity. 11 people in, definitely sustainable, sitting there as a leader. Followed by the fact that it's a global opportunity and that it's growing. So that's giving us some interesting insight. One of the things that I'm very keen to do is to listen and to see, what everybody else's perspectives are on this. And so sitting at 4.6 on sustainable with 15 in, followed by global and growth sitting actually kind of neck to neck, which is interesting because it looks like our opportunity is receiving sort of our identification of that opportunity is generally being agreed with, which is very comforting. We like to be sure and certain. I think that having taken a reasonably global perspective on things, that the next thing for us to really think about is our South Africa in particular. And one of the things that we're particularly conscious of is that as a country, we can experience more impact, and at the same time, we have particular needs when it comes to learning and development, because we have a poor educational baseline that we need to address. And this is normally very important to those of us that work in the learning industry. It relates to what we're passionate about. We're here for a reason, and we have a strong sense of purpose. One of the questions that we ask ourselves is, can we make a positive difference? And I'm very strongly of the belief, I think along with my associates at Empanda, that it is an important space for us to be growing and working in. Partly because we're enabling education, which is something that we desperately need. Partly because a lot of what we want to work on in terms of content is about enabling business leadership, and strong business is something that is vitally important to our flourishing future economy. In addition to that, any opportunity to bring in currency and revenue from offshore is important, because that can in turn drive job creation, and job creation creates spending and further jobs. And so if there is an opportunity in the learning space, it's important at a macro level that we're doing all that we can to stand together and to be strong around taking that opportunity. If I'm looking at the results coming in, we've got 14 in, and we've got a leader which is enabling education, and that's no surprise. I think, sort of education is vitally important to having a population that is able to and empowered to do what it needs to do to flourish sustainably in the future. Neck and neck, we've got generating income and job creation coming in as a second. We've got enabling business leadership popping up there. But again, I think that the points that we're looking at that are coming out here are definitely leaning towards the agree that it makes a positive difference, and that there can be a sort of a sense of purpose found from working in the online learning space, which is important because it helps us to be motivated and strong around what we do. So we want to really take the opportunity, and in order to do that, I think it's useful for you to explain our model and what it is that we're doing, so that we can communicate the opportunity that we see. And our purpose there is, as we go through the presentation, to give you an idea of where and how you can purposefully connect with us and become part of our growth model. And so in around about 2014, we started out as a very little company. And we were primarily born in the project consulting space, initially at ShopRite. I think we've got quite a few people here that were involved with us at ShopRite on this call. We can see the sort of the Catherines, Tamaras, the Danielas, the Barbaras, the Daryls, and the Jameses and the Michaels out there that are on the call. What we were focused on was project training for digital transformation, change management and communication. And this is work that we still do today. So we are still looking for consultants that are high caliber to come and to be a part of those projects. After ShopRite, we grew into the Transport Development Authority supporting HCL. I think that we've got Martin here today, and that was a second big digital transformation project. And there's also Lindsay from Can Do, who we've supported Can Do on mass discounters, and this is an important body of work that helps us to drive business transformation. But we then grew, and what we started to do was we started to deliver learning programs specifically to do with leadership, to do with motivation. We think we've got the amazing Kashifa here today, who is one of our very first programs that was in the catering space. And through that process, what happened was we really got very good at managing our learning management platform, Juno. We went through a lot of change. Initially, we developed a learning management solution in-house. We subsequently worked with an outsourced solution. We've become very good at managing it, understanding the skills, the technology that's needed in order to make that flourish. And there came a point around about a year and a half ago where we realized that actually Juno was becoming the value proposition in itself, that could be a platform that we shared from an economy of scale perspective, and that we made available to a wider audience. And that was stage 3 in our journey. And through that process, what we were doing is we were continuing learning programs, and we were working more and more closely with the United Nations, both the United Nations Global Compact in New York, where we produce e-learning content for the Academy on important sustainability issues such as gender equality. There was the Ocean Sustainability Conference this year, but also ethical procurement and how to operate as a sustainable and high integrity business that takes sort of responsibility, and working also with our Global Compact network here in South Africa, where we forged some quite important relationships with the very big organizations that are driving South Africa forward by working on transformation. Our next leg on the journey, and the part that we're sort of launching at the moment, is collaborative authoring. And collaborative authoring is born out of the time that we have now, where we want to move fast and where we want to have the very best minds and talent to come and be enabled almost at Juno as a watering hole, where we share skills in order to enable accelerated course content developments. And we're doing this for a reason. If we are enabling successful authors to take courses to market, not just in the business to business space, but also to be able to retail to the wider customer out there, then that actually helps us to flourish within Juno. So we've got a symbiotic business model, and this picture here therefore kind of represents not only how we've grown, but also how we're sustaining the 4 key parts of our business. The project consulting, where we need to have ongoing talent, and particularly consultants that can manage and be involved with content development projects, learning programs, which requires account management and really being able to interact with clients to make sure that they're getting value out of the program, that learners are supported. The learning management solution itself, Juno, which is very much a digital offering and requires a blend of skills and collaborative authoring. So that's our journey since 2014. We're currently sitting with 17 employees, but a much larger group of associates, and that's what we see growing as our associate network. And so that is that part there. Okay, so today we're going live with that operating model. We're taking it out into our wider community. There's an e-commerce store that is going live, which is a very exciting development. We're all hoping that you will go to it and see if you can break it for us, because it's its birthday, and so it's very young and fragile. Please do go in and smash it up so that we can make it robust and strong. It's out there from today, and let us know how you're going on that. And it is enabling courses that come out of our Juno platform, which is also available for corporate. So Juno, just to be super clear about that part of the value proposition, is an ultra user-friendly platform where it is extremely easy to author and to take steps forward to develop your own content. It's responsive, it works on the phone, it's globally hosted so that you've got reach. It's got amazing gamification and reporting so that you can see and track where your learner is. It's easy to use whether you're a learner or whether you're an instructor. And most importantly, it's supported by us. So you can go, and there are about 3,500 different learning management solutions out there in the universe. But ours is manned by Empandas, which means that rather than just being a technology platform, it's very deeply blended with our content development capability. And so we see those two things as being important to integrate. If you're going to offer the best support, it means that you can author your own content, and it means that you can also get us to give a helping hand if you need that. So that's Juno. And I think what's really important to communicate today is what Juno really is, because it's a great deal more than a learning management solution. So here goes on the presentation of architecture. I think I mentioned earlier that we've stopped coding in-house. There are coding houses that specialize in tons of different widgets, and they are evolving every single day. What we've become is an integrator. And so what we constantly do is find the very best widget out there and pull it into our platform and integrate it. And we're looking after more than just the learning experience. We're looking after the end-to-end learning value chain. So you'll see rather interestingly at the center of the stack here that there's actually HubSpot, which means that we've got a CRM that's integrated into the center of our platform, because it's about helping to manage the learner management lifecycle. But also it's critically important if you're authoring and you want to promote courses in the wider world. And so it connects to our ability to do digital advertising. And so the HubSpot is, of course, connected to our learning management solution. All of that is integrated. And we offer a number of authoring tools that we are experts at and that we work with. So, for example, we've got access to libraries. We work with key e-learning softwares such as Storyline. We work with the entire Adobe Creative Suite. So if it's animation or video, it can be After Effects or whatever that might be. We play with free tools such as OBS and really champion people getting to grips with new and innovative software and widgets that people need but might be confused about in the market. And we try them all and then select the ones that are most cost effective and best. And we see ourselves as being able to offer value in terms of which tools you need to get involved with in order to enable yourselves. So that then also connects to our webinar platform that we're leveraging here today, which is a combination of either YouTube or Zoom or our webinar press technology, tools like Mentimeter for taking polls, etc. And that in turn is hosted on our web platform, which has got pages for authors so that people don't need to build their own websites. Is connected to our payment engine at Peach Payments, and is plugged into WooCommerce, which has got multi-currency so that we are able to trade globally, which becomes extremely important if we're going to be able to do that global growth scaling thing. All of that connects then to the wider internet and web. And whichever channel it is that floats anybody's boat, we're also leveraging diagnostic tools such as Survey Anyplace to create interactive features that can be out there to help people sort of navigate in and find what course resonates with them. And all of this works because it's connected to a really good suite of information around SEO and analytics. So, for example, we use Hootsuite in order to understand whether or not we're growing and promoting the course catalog base. We work with Google Ads and analytics. We use MailChimp for outbound. We have Databox for reporting and analytics so that people can have a perspective on where they're performing. And this has taken us quite a long time to pull together. You might be going, well, why are you showing us your fabulous, sort of IT architecture? We could just go out and we could build that ourselves. And I invite you to, because every single one of these has got a $1 subscription associated with it. And our vision is actually that by being the experts at pulling together this stack and sharing it on board other people, there is a cost efficiency that we can benefit from. There are also all of the pro tips associated with how you use and integrate all of these tools. And that is a very important part of the value proposition. So that's the architecture. I'm going to ask you a little question. In terms of that, which part of it is actually attractive to you? You know, is it that if you were to play with such a platform, that you would get, you know, sort of ongoing innovation without having to do all of that work on your own, to get agile evolution? Is it because as we grow the number of learners on the platform, there are cost efficiencies and that eventually translates into good prices? Is it the fact that we've got a sort of a hub of digital skill where we're able to share expertise? Is it because actually by outsourcing your IT, you get to focus on your core mandate or passion, which is your learner and your area of expertise that you're working on sharing? And is it because of the global cloud-based performance, the fact that it's we work very hard to be mean on you know, internet consumption and bandwidth and fluid streaming, and that it can be accessed anywhere in the world? Okay, so that's interesting. We've got neck and neck, they're getting the digital skills and the expertise, and the fact that it's possible to outsource IT so we can focus on the learner. Coming up with the second, which is the cloud performance angle on global performance, which is interesting and great. Getting agile evolution is sitting up there high. And what is surprising is that the cost efficiency isn't sitting there as the number one priority. I actually had a subtle expectation that that one would be sitting higher up in the ranking, but it's interesting to see where people see the benefits lying. What is interesting about all of these points is that they are definitely in the high end, and so they are actually tangible benefits, and that's with 17 in. So that together is what we see as describing a managed service. Okay, so that's our conversation around that, and very exciting feedback from everybody. Thank you very much for your input on that. And at the same time, we all know, don't we? I think I look very smashing in this. This is good. This should be my new Facebook profile picture. But we all know that that it's not just about the technology. We're the people, right? And I think that one of the singularly most important things about Empanda is we've got a lot of consultants that are out on the ground and who are on projects, but at the center, we've really built a capability that are the humans and the people that will be responsible for leading, growing, and nurturing this next generation business model. And we're super keen to share with you who we are. So in the name of building future relationships. So we decided last stop, sort of just about yesterday, to put together a little video. Let's see what you think about that.
Hi, my name is Christy. I'm the CEO and founder of Empanda, and I'm responsible for our strategy and our route to market for Juno and our wider consulting offering around learning. And my superhero is Iron Man, who is amazingly able to bring together incredible technology to make the world a better place on an almost daily basis.
Hi, I'm Suzanne Groves. I am Empanda's 2IC. I'm also principal consultant that oversees operations. My superhero is Supergirl. I'm fast and efficient, and I have a laser eye focus.
Hi all, my name is Louise Broad, and I'm fortunate to be one of the pioneer authors on the Shine Author Accelerator initiative. This has meant that I've been able to help shape the program together with this amazing team, and has positioned me well to lead a whole bunch of new authors through the program. My superhero is Freakazoid, a crazy superhero who is battling an array of supervillains with my extraordinary speed, agility, and negligible amounts of sanity. Everything that is needed to help bring this extraordinary offering to market in record time.
My name is Evan Chapman. I'm CIO at Empanda and help with the magic behind Juno. My superhero is Batman. Batman does not possess any inhuman superpowers. He does possess genius-level intellect and his vast, extraordinary arsenal of equipment to get the job done.
Hi, my name is Alicia, and I'm responsible for the finance at Empanda. I focus on profitability, cash flow management, risk assessment, and corporate governance. And my superheroes are the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, as I believe it takes a team of varied personalities to save the world and have fun while doing it.
Hi, my name is Salman van Wyk. I will be looking after the commercial viability, which includes pricing and competitor insights. My favorite superhero is Iron Man, as he always gets to drive the latest and greatest Audi R8 in the films.
What, Sol took Iron Man? No. And my superhero is James T. Kirk, because James T. Kirk is able to make a superb second plan when the first plan doesn't work out. He's also got a large and very high-tech ship that he can use to go to distant galaxies.
Hi, my name is Shanae Kutsia. I am the CRM manager and social media analyst for Empanda. I am responsible for our content plan and our source of analytics. My superhero is Wonder Woman. I admire her omnilingualism. She can speak the language of any person she encounters. And I strive to use this ability to physically perceive and communicate in any and all languages across platforms.
Hi, my name is Cheston, and they call me the Black Panther because I use my secret weapon. As a graphic designer, I use vibranium and creativity, and the two combined makes awesomeness. Here in Panda, we make everything awesome. To infinity and beyond. Oh wait, no, Wakanda forever.
Hi, I'm Gavin, and I oversee graphic design and e-learning at Empanda. My superhero is Luke Cage, because in this industry you need a tough skin, and you need to be tough and strong to break creative barriers.
Hi, I'm Leilani, and I'll give you 2 hints. Bunny and battery. Yes, I'm the Energizer Bunny, and all I'm asking is 5 squats. Just joking. My superpower for Empanda is 5-minute workouts every morning before they start their day, getting the heart rate up, getting the blood flowing. Are you ready to be energized?
Okay, so there we go. That's the humans that sit behind very, very important elements of what we do. And I'm going to just getting little love hearts down the bottom. Thank you for the people that are clicking the little heart button there. That's awesome. And this team has essentially, as of today, got 12 first courses in the e-learning store. So this is a huge achievement. There's been a tremendous amount of work that's gone into these. They're a combination of programs that were originally designed in this instance for face-to-face at our Inspiration Center that we've now converted for online format. Some of them are much lighter team building, virtual team building experiences and more fun. And some have quite a serious purpose. So for example, World Cafe is a product that's around if you've got an idea that needs lift and juice, bring your stakeholders together and really get the idea gunning. The virtual teams one for inspiring our team for the win is the perfect precursor to any kind of annual performance review process where you want to set objectives, which can be very, very dull and boring and also extremely hard work for line managers. If you go through this process, what we do is connect personal to work objective, and it's energized and fun, which means that when you get to that part of the process, things become easy. We've got our virtual project planning product, which is like that classic planning day that you often bring in an external facilitator for on a big project. We do that in an energized way online. There's our ACES leadership journey, which is a year-long program. Don't faint when you see the price on that one, but it's our flagship program for building commitment to transformational change within an organization. We've got our We Are One, We Are Fun, very light, just for people that want to have a bit of fun and to come together for a team connect. Then there's our first one to be going live next week, which is our Becoming a Totally Motivated Leader. This works to build motivational leadership. It's ideal for junior line managers, but also for community-based organizations and youth empowerment. So very, very nice, simple and practical toolkit for lifting motivational levels. Relationships at the heart of values, our stakeholder engagement product, which perhaps if people are feeling isolated is a great way to refresh how it is that we get our energy in order to connect. Virtue in an Evolving World is our anti-corruption product, hectic, but if you want to build resilience against corruption, identify top risks and put together a playbook that helps you to be resilient, that's the one. Planning the 2030 Agenda, which is our transformation product, brings life into your BBBEE transformation strategy, pulls people together, will lift up and refresh it with a view on what it is that helps your business strategy aligned to your transformation agenda for biggest impact. Then we've got our virtual storytelling product, which is based on a hero's journey, which is all about telling a story for you, for your wider stakeholders. You get a little video that comes out of that one, and it's very fun, but helps you to understand and get galvanized around future vision. There's our Women That Runs With the Wolves product, which is our gender equality product, quite a serious product, that one, not for the faint-hearted. And then after that, we've got our communication in a complex world, which is for really refining the communication lines within your business and having a game plan for managing effective escalations. So if you find that you're struggling to get the right information to the right place, this is the product for clarifying roles, expectations, and your communications infrastructure. So those are the products that are going live today in the store. We'll be talking about a sneaky promotion on those for people that are participants on this webinar shortly. And what our plan is really is to, with our collaborative authoring program, is to try and launch an accelerated launch for one author every single week. And we'll talk a little bit about the program shortly. Louise is here to really sort of detail the experience because she's an author within the program. But here are the first 4 that will be going live. Totally Motivated Leaders is happening next Thursday. The week after that, Louise is going to be instilling a coaching mindset whilst leading your virtual team, very relevant product. In 2 weeks' time. After that, Zita, who's also on the call, is going to be doing our launch for her product, which is becoming the next e-learning wizards. So if you're interested in the online instructional design and production process, that can be for you. And then we've also got Troy on the call, who's got an incredible product, which is it's expansion through yoga, which really is about becoming empowered. And really sort of looking at expanding sort of mentally, physically, and spiritually. And on that note, what I want to do is I think I've told you a little bit about our role as Totally Motivating Leaders, which is going live next week. This is the one which is about motivation. But what I want to do is I want to step forward to instilling a coaching mindset while leading your virtual team, and hand to my glamorous co-host, Louise. Tell us all about it. We're just going to need to take, yeah, there we go.
Thanks, Evan. Thanks, Christy. Yeah, guys, so at the beginning of February, I think Time Magazine called it, they had a massive headline that said the coronavirus outbreak has become the world's largest work from home experiment. And wow, hasn't it been just that? I think with a large percentage of the workforce having to work from home during COVID-19, and an even larger percentage of all employees saying, listen, we actually quite like this and would like to continue working remotely, or at least part of the time, we are definitely seeing the rapid rise of the remote worker. So while this is the ultimate work scenario for employees, obviously for companies now, they have to look at new ways to foster spaces for internal reflection, authentically showing up, connection, and the actual enablement of their virtual teams. So the ongoing rise of the remote work and a growing commitment towards the well-being of workers is the way of the future. And companies are going to have to start adapting and developing agile workforce strategies to make the situation work for everyone involved. Now, one of the approaches that we spoke about is learning to adopt a coaching mindset. So what does that mean? Well, if you're interested in finding out more, Christy's already alluded to the fact that we're going to be having the Are You Instilling a Coaching Mindset whilst leading a virtual team webinar on the 20th of August. It's going to be a fairly content-rich webinar, so please do consider joining us if this is something, if you are leading a team of remote workers. It certainly would be of benefit. What we're going to do is unpack what it means to instill an integrated coaching mindset. And we do that by using a very simple analogy of a baobab tree. So watch this space for more. If that webinar does pique your interest, we then have a full series of products. So we have a really cool diagnostic that will give you a lot of information, and a series of 2-part webinars and the actual automated online course. Now, of course, this offering has been made possible by the Shine Author Accelerator program. Christy very kindly invited me to join the team as a pioneer author at the very beginning. And essentially what this program does is it takes you from inception of your idea through to execution, through to sales, and you support it throughout this journey by the incredible Empanda team. Honestly, they all have the skill set to help guide and support you every step of the way. And you may say, but is there a market for it? I think Christy already alluded to the fact that there is. But I think as we all spend more time online, I think many of us are yearning to use that time productively. You can only watch so many reruns of Sex and the City. And we're all embracing platforms that actually connect us to people just like you, teachers, experts, mentors, coaches, in our quest to learn new skills. So seriously, guys, if you have an idea for an online course and you are able to spend a minimum of 15 hours a week working through the guided modules, you could be going to market with your course on the 1st of October. I'm going to hand over to Christy.
Thank you very much indeed, Louise. Really, it's been a roller coaster ride, especially for the first authors coming through, because they've been my ultra guinea pigs, and I'm just so incredibly grateful for their collaboration. And I'm very excited by the instructional design that we've put in. We believe it takes everything that we've been working on with a very large number of pros in the L&D community for 25 years. And it smacks it out, and so it's a very, very accelerated process that we're leveraging, and we're very, very excited about it. And one of the things that we want to do in association with this is start to pull together what we call a Shine network, and this is something that we believe that we critically need as a business model, but also that some of you in the learning and development industry, regardless of what skill you have, because there's a very diverse blend of skills that are needed in order to work in the learning space, is a Shine profile. So this is worth checking out on the website. Our authors are by invitation invited to come in. We're putting in deeply trusted members of our network that we've worked with and that we know have got talent, so that we can create a sort of a hub where people know that they can come. There are no catches in this. We're not going to try and take margin from people that generate work out of this. We actually just believe that by pulling together awesome graphic designers, great copy editors, animators, instructional designers, executive coaches, human capital consultants, anybody that's essentially working in the people space, that we can come and create a pasture that people know that they can get trusted talent at. And so that's one of the things to look out for. Okay, so it's a good question to ask at this point, is based on what you've seen so far. We've told you a little bit about the programs. We're going to ask a little bit more about the roles in our next question set. But in terms of the programs, early feedback. This is a world that is very new to us. What is appealing to you? You can choose any of the above. Is it the product that's around motivational leadership for sort of early line manager, stroke youth or community? Are you more interested in the coaching mindset for a virtual team to do that transition into remote working? Are you interested in the next e-learning wizard and the instructional design skills and the learning skills that come out of that, about expansion through yoga in terms of taking some time to reflect and to work on expansion and centering self? And are you interested at all in the idea of being a Shine author? And interesting to see, oh, Zita, looks like next e-learning wizard is sitting there up there with a 7.3 and leading the way. Definitely interested being expressed there in the coaching mindset there for you, Louise, around managing a sort of a virtual team, motivational leadership sitting up there. Also sitting there with Shine Author, Expansion for Yoga, sitting definitely above par as well. And it's quite interesting because obviously this is influenced by our target audience, and we are the target audience here is our database of people that we've worked with in terms of talent and learning and development. So so that's interesting. That's looking good. And then in terms of the next things, I guess the question becomes is what is it when we're talking about opportunity that we're looking for in terms of people that can join our model in order to grow. I've talked about the Shine Author already. Okay, so I've asked that question. But one of the things that we are interested in is if there are clients in our network that are interested in elements of our range that they've never seen before, perhaps have worked with us. I see that we've got Pick and Pay in here, and Wendy, it's fantastic to see you guys, for example, on consulting projects or content development or change management. Other areas might be useful. So if you're within our community and you understand that you can make a client referral, one of the things that we want to point out is that we do work on a commission basis. So there can be reward and associated with client referral. If you are client directly, please do come and have a chat with us about that. We are looking for people that can deliver an account management based role. So these are people that understand the learning and development industry, who have merit and strength around a project management skill set, who can play a sort of a principal consulting role, who are able to own a project. So this is someone that's definitely a safe set of experienced, trusted hands, who at the same time are able to manage an excellent relationship with clients. So that is a specific call to action. It's a particular role that we're looking for people to fulfill. It's critical to growth because it's what will determine the success of our projects. And so we're trying to find that sort of person. Maybe you are that kind of person. Maybe you can refer that kind of person. We are very interested in people that can play an account management role. And we're also interested in being able to scale across the range of skills that are needed to deliver content. So that includes the full range from people that are able to vision, instructionally design, training needs analysis, the change management and communication side of things, and being on the ground, facilitation, big call to action on people that have got a charismatic online facilitation style, who can hold and facilitate a group. Very interested in content development professionals across the range of skill sets. So that includes from the graphic design side of things, experience with e-learning tools, and then of course delivery as well. And I am anticipating it's an easier role to find, but I am anticipating that we'll have a few junior roles as we start to work the e-commerce shop and the learner experience part of the process. It's about making sure that we are able to facilitate people through the learning process. So people that have generally a very, very nice interactive relationship management style, who are passionate about learning, because that's what we're doing and that's what we're talking about in terms of the project work. So in terms of that, if we could just take a little sort of step forward, where are you interested? I'm actually just interested in terms of the people that have dialed in today. Which elements in terms of the call to action? Hopefully we're being really clear about what we're looking for. Are you interested in? There's a sneaky one at the bottom there that's for people that have joined the webinar. Is there anybody that would like a 25% discount? We are able to see the feedback that comes out the back of this, so feel free that if you'd like to snap that up. We are offering 25% discount on the webinar today for someone that wants to pilot a journey and thinks that they have a target audience that can take that out of the box. It can be that you know a client who might need us, that there could be a referral for. It could be that you are generally interested in the account management role that I'm describing, which is sort of a blend of client service delivery and project management. That also works with a sort of a share of commission in addition to the time and material side of things. There's doing an online facilitation, working within the content sphere, and then also being interested in being a Shine author. And the reason that we're asking is so that the amazing Suzanne do an awesome job of following this, just to make sure that we get the connections forged in terms of stepping forward. Oh gosh, look, the most exciting thing is that a 25% discount on our journey. That's exciting. I mean, it's just out the box now, so it's a brand new thing. We're very grateful for anyone that spreads the word and helps us sort of to fuel our success in this new online format. So that would be awesome. 14 in. Looks like there's a peak of interest there around the content consulting. So that's strong. And the online facilitation and the interest in being an author. We always want to see the people that have got a client. That's very important. So definitely very, very interested in that one as well. Okay, so 14 up. I'm going to just move us down because I think that we're actually almost at the place where we're ready to move into our Q&A part of the session. And so I'm going to take us back up to the beginning, and I'm going to ask Suzanne. Suzanne, have you been? Sort of questions coming in there on the Mentimeet. Are there questions for us?
Yes, Christy, there's definitely some questions that came through. I can quickly read them to you. We got a very good question raised by Carmen. She's asking, where should we refer a good account manager to?
Okay, so here we write our on this call, the person that is really the steward of our operations is Suzanne. She's it's no jokes around the whole Supergirl thing. She's ultra efficient, etc. But for anyone that needs to be or wants to be an account manager, I think the key thing is to get into the diary with me so that we can have a chat and have a bit of a one-to-one. So Suzanne is your point of connection. Let her know, and we need to get a meeting into the diary so that we can have a chat, because that's something that we really need to step forward with.
Good. There was another one, but Carmen, I'll reach out to you on that one. There was the interesting question saying, can Juno support CETA accredited courses, including assessment and moderations?
I love this question. So yes, we can through a couple of different ways. One of them is that we've paid huge attention to what it is that we need to do to manage to build a portfolio of evidence for a learner. And the particular tool in that architecture that I presented earlier is FormStack, which is a very good tool for managing a workflow. And we are able to integrate that into our Juno learning management solution, so that you're able to systematically get the portfolio of evidence that you require. So that's, from a functionality perspective, something that is crucially important. But it's only the very first sort of thing that needs to happen in order to make the accreditation story work. The reason that we're the right place to come for that is actually because of our associates within the Shine network. And there are about 3 really talented people that have got moderator and CETA and accreditation experience. I'm thinking off the top of my head of the Wilhelmines and the Zetas and the Angeliques that are people that we work very closely with. And what is important is that these people not only know how to get your online learning experience aligned to a qualification, but they also have extremely strong and real relationships with real people at the seaters. So one of the things that we are constantly working on is the dialogue and the conversation around what can and cannot be done in the virtual world. And one of the things that we're seeing is a very accelerated change in the preparedness of the seaters to accept online blended learning experiences as accredited experiences. So it's a space that we're very, very interested in and that we see as a differentiator for us. So if you have an interest in the accreditation side of things from either supply or from a demand perspective, frankly, then it's worth having a conversation.
I've got more.
Go for it.
Okay, so there's a nice technical costing question, and it relates to the accelerator program for the authors. So what they really want to know, and this comes from Sean and Annelie, they're basically asking the same things. What is the cost of becoming part of the accelerator program? And then what is then the agreement with the author? How does that work?
Okay, so let's imagine that we've got a shop. There are actually sort of three ways of engaging. Really, I'm going to start at the top and then come into the Shine author one. You can actually be having Juno because you want to train your employees and you're not trying to sell anything. And then that's what we call B2B. It's business to business. We Empanda are working with a business and no one's retailing anything. Option number two is that you can go straight for Juno because you want to sell in the e-commerce store, and then you pay a transactional fee just as you would if you were selling at, say, Takealot, but you're entirely accountable for your own content development. We started out on that pathway. The reason for inventing the Shine Accelerator Initiative was because we were concerned that people tangented or got lost in the technical options, and that's why we started the Shine Accelerator program. The Shine Accelerator program is at the moment worth around about 140,000 rands worth of Empanda time, and the way that we're doing it is actually through a revenue sharing scheme where basically the author and Empanda share 50-50 the proceeds in terms of the margin on the course, which is why we look at the course so carefully in week one. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to go back up to the Shine Accelerator structure here, because they are critical. Because of this, what I'm describing, there are critical milestones that we go through. So the first thing you come into is module one, which is called My Team and Vision. And that is, in essence, a very business value proposition orientated module. What it does is it assesses whether or not your course has got legs. We look at competitor analysis. We look at demand in the marketplace for your course. We understand what the volumes that are probably going to come out of it. And then we put together a forecast and a budget for the revenue that would come in through that process. And we divide that into between Empanda and the author. And then we have to mutually decide that we are interested in that, right? So if author says, you've got to be kidding, that's not worth getting out of bed for, then that's the end of it. And if Empanda says that doesn't look like ROI on 140K's worth of work cumulatively over time, then we don't. And so you either do or don't progress out of module one into module two. So currently it doesn't have a cost. But I don't see, it's a brand new program. I don't see any reason why somebody that wanted to pay so that they owned all of the IP couldn't do so. That's just a conversation. You know, you can have that conversation with me. What we do have is we've got a quite clear resource plan that sits behind it, that understands, that's why we're saying 15 hours a week from author. And then time from Empanda is that we understand what it takes to deliver the various widgets across the way. So does that help with that answer? Do we feel that's answered? Okay.
Yes. So if anyone wants more information and detailed information, you know, we can supply that. Christy, there's another question that came out. It's from Michael. it's with regards to copyright. So he's asking, what are we currently doing in terms of copyright considerations, and is it an onerous process while going through the course building itself?
Yes, and there are a couple of different angles to look at from a copyright perspective. Are we, when we write, being sufficiently original and creating content that isn't breaching the copyright of others? There's the matter around that copyright that is created and how that is owned. And then there's the matter of dealing with what happens if people are in breach of your copyright. Okay, so I'll work backwards through those. In terms of the terms and conditions, we do our very best to have terms and conditions for learners and users of the website, asking them to respect the intellectual property of the courses that are up there. The rubber has never really hit the road for us because we've never put a product out there on B2C as to what you do if somebody does come in and sort of transgress that principle. I think that, sort of in the learning space, there is always a degree of plagiarization where people take concepts and they go out and they work them. But one would have to think it through really on a case-by-case basis. In terms of so then coming back to the IP relating to the course, when you become a Shine author, we share the IP for the course. And so what you need to be as an author is completely clear that you're satisfied that the technical knowledge, that the graphic design and branding, and that the instructional design process, and that what Empanda is bringing to the table is something that's blended together with the IP, that's the subject matter expertise, is a good fit. That's why we're so stringent around the visioning week in week one. If someone doesn't want Empanda to play revenue share, then I would be completely open to someone paying for the services, because then it's just like us delivering what I'd call a content development project. And that is where a client comes and says, I've got some content that I need to be delivered. And in that instance, the IP very much sits with the clients. So as with our existing clients, if we've developed e-learning modules or learning programs for them, that is definitely their IP. And then in terms of the creative process and making sure that we don't violate the IP of others, that is just so impossible. You just need to come into this process and see what happens creatively, and you'll see that the product that comes out of it, because it's a very real and visceral process, is unique. And yeah. Does that answer the question? Am I covering the angles right? Just pop a note into the chat if I've missed a trick. Oh, great, excellent. All right. Any other questions?
I've got another question for Louise. Louise, there's a question saying, how do we get to know more about your course? So where do I go? Where do I get more detail?
Well, that's a very easy answer. I think the best way to do that is to actually join us at the webinar on the 20th. If that's not possible, I'm very happy to have a conversation with people one-on-one. So yeah, if you send me your details, I will call you in the next day or so, and we can have a chat.
Yes, so I do think you can add in the chat box then if you want to contact Louise, and we'll make sure that Louise gets back to you. Christy, do you have more time for questions?
It's 12:08, so we've got a little bit more time.
So then Sean further wants to know, how after building a course can an author then dissociate from Empanda? How do you exit, and then who owns the content?
So it is a classic revenue sharing JV, and so it would work like any other kind of joint venture or entity, which is that you walk into it with the idea that you're going to co-create and that you're going to create the course together. And so if someone wants to divest, that would be just a normal business conversation around a buyout one way or the other. And I guess it could happen in either direction. You have someone that has been an author who's produced a course, but who doesn't want to deliver a role in championing it, and who seeks to leave it. And it can happen that the author wants to move away, but that would be a normal business conversation around that process. And what we do have is we've got a revenue sharing agreement that we go through as a part of the visioning process that covers off all of the exit strategies associated with it. And if anyone can come up with ones that we haven't covered, it's a new agreement, so we'll just include more scenarios. I'm very open to that. Yep.
And then I've got a question here from Paula. Paula is asking, Christy, can you explain the white label LMS?
Yes. Okay. So when we say white label LMS, although Juno has a brand, when we put an author or anybody onto it, whether they're a client or whether they're an author, essentially what you end up is with your own URL to log in, and it's entirely branded against your brand. You may or may not have a brand. If you're an existing company or client, it's probable that you do. If you're an author, you may have a concept for a course that isn't fully branded and doesn't have a logo, etc. We go through the process of establishing that brand, and your learning management solution has its own independent logon and feels like your brand from day one. And we do that as an integrated part of the onboarding process.
Okay, I see there's one more question from Annelie, but maybe I could demo to Annelie. She is asking for courses that are currently out there. Is there anything that we can demo to her?
Absolutely, I would be very. There's a whole ton of stuff that is protected IP that we can't really share. But we do have permission from a couple of our clients to show the technique and the look and the feel, etc. So we're definitely able to share quite a lot of the United Nations work. There is some content that's up on our sustainability page if you want to see sort of animations and some of the stories that we've told there. But the more e-learning type product, and obviously the Juno platform itself, we'd love to demo. We love to, and so we're very happy to do a demo and to show people how that works. Just request it.
So Ashley is also asking a very good question. She's saying, where is the solution physically hosted?
It's on an Amazon Web Services platform, which is the reason that it's got global reach. Yeah.
Sorry, that was Raymond. Sorry, Raymond. Ashley is asking, are you only keen on adult education?
No, I don't think so. You know, sort of our focus in terms of the niche that we're defining as humans, as opposed to technology, as opposed to process, right? So I think that there's a huge scope to start working, sort of with younger people. We put tentative footsteps into the waters around helping with Juno with schools being locked down and homeschooling, just because the audible wails of despair from parents were so loud, and we took a step back quite quickly, just because there are a lot of free products like Google Classroom that seemed more appropriate for the schools that we initially spoke with. But having that kind of learning management solution, which is very difficult to administrate, I think that there will be increased demand by schools who, I think what schools are going to do is they're going to realize that it's not a temporary requirement to process a bit of remote stuff, and that actually a course catalog for teachers can be nurtured, and that the reporting and analytics can be extremely useful, and that they're going to sort of progressively onboard into a more formalized learning management world from a learning management solution perspective. But regardless of the platform, and I see that the schools definitely entering the market and going for proper learning management solutions. There's the content. And I think that being able to put the content out there is incredibly important. And one of the things that we're quite proud of is that Juno does work extremely effectively on a mobile device. And that is increasingly quite important in terms of enabling access to content. Yeah.
I think that's it for now.
Okay.
I don't see any more questions coming through.
Well, if anybody has any more, this is us really sort of stepping out to say hello and to invite, sort of contact and connection. We're definitely going to post-produce this webinar so that it's available. We sent out the invitation at very short notice, and so we've got lots of people have expressed quite a lot of interest in seeing it afterward. And so thank you very, very, very much indeed for joining us today. We're going to send out an email just to get some feedback afterwards and to confirm what the different channels are for following the calls to action if you want to get involved. So that email will be coming out. It will have the link to this webinar. If you share it, we would just be super grateful and really excited. If you know people in your network that you think our messages will resonate with, we are trying to get out there and forge the right connections, for our growth model. We hope that you are interested, and we're really, really looking forward to taking this forward and breathing further life into it. And we hope that you're excited by the vision and the messages that we've given here today. I don't know, sort of, Louise, do you have anything that you'd like to say before we close?
Yeah, I just wanted to say thanks very much for being so engaging, everybody, and for all the questions and everything. And we really look forward to seeing some of you in the next series of webinars as well. And as Christy said, we also look forward to engaging with you one-on-one, as required. So yes, and thanks very much for your time today.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
Yes, bye.
Goodbye. Good day further.